survives life-threatening surgery. Wabali named Chippa United captain. The news in details. Rivers State chapter of People's Democratic Party has successfully elected new state executive committee with Aaron Chukwuemeka as the new chairman, despite 2 court orders stopping the party from going ahead with the exercise. Recall that in July, Justice Charles Wale prohibited the party, its national chairman Leah Damogum and national secretary Senator Samuel Ayawu on their agents from gathering anywhere in Rivers State to hold ward, local government and state congresses until the court hears and determines the suit before it. The suit was filed by at least 1 PDP member from each of the 23 local government areas. Before Justice Wale's order, Justice Sobere Biambo had issued an order in a suit filed by David Omireji and 10 orders stopping the PDP, its national chairman, chairperson, national financial secretary and national organizing secretary from conducting the Congress. But the Federal High Court in Abuja has said to have sent out the first order and allowed the party to proceed with its congresses. Justice Peter Lifo barred the DSS, the police, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and 7 others from stopping or disrupting the congresses. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has vowed to cause political crisis in the state of any governor who tries to interfere in the affairs of the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State. Wike said that at the PDP Secretariat in Port Harcourt on Saturday during the party state congress, the minister who singled out Bauchi Governor Bala Mohammed promised sleepless nights to governors who leave their states to challenge him in Rivers State. Wike's verbal onslaught comes days after the PDP governors met in Taraba State and weighed in on the crisis rocking the party in Rivers State, in which the minister and the state governor are principal players. The PDP governors had in a communique read by its chairman, Governor Bala Mohammed, on August 23rd, reiterated their support for Governor Siminalayi Fubara. They called for a review of the party congress outcome to restore Fubara's leadership role in the state. Governor Fubara was absent in the Saturday's Congress conducted at the party secretariat in Aba Road, Port Harcourt. In attendance alongside the FCT minister were some serving and past lawmakers at both federal and state levels, former council chairmen and other party faithful. INEC President Electoral Commissioner and some other staff of the commission were also present to monitor the exercise. Independent National Electoral Commission has announced plans to deploy more than 5,000 bimodal voter accreditation system machines for the Edo State governorship election scheduled for September 21st, 2024. According to a senior INEC official who spoke on condition of anonymity on Thursday, the commission is gearing up to ensure a smooth and efficient electoral process across the state's 4,519 polling units and 211 collation centers. These centers include 192 ward centers, 18 local government centers, and a state collation center in Benin City. In operation, INEC has scheduled a mock voter accreditation for September 10th, 2024 in Edo State to test the BVAS deployment and electronic results upload process to the INEC results viewing portal. Additionally, the Commission has completed the installation and configuration of the BVAS machine that will be used on Election Day. Analysts has cautioned the police command to ensure that the Edo September gubernatorial election turns out peacefully. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program ATN Politics, political analyst Mr. Vincent Ogene says the conduct of the police in carrying out their duties during elections will determine how organized the electorate will comport themselves.
So, in other words, the onions also lies on the police authority to talk to their men who are going to be on duty, on the day of the election, before the election, during the election, and thereafter, for them to equally behave. And I believe that the conduct of the police is going to go a long way in charting the path which the citizens they are talking to. So, in other words,
elucidating further, Mr. Ogenekewe charged the police to ensure that every local government in Edo State is secured, especially the state capital.
Need to do their own work to make sure all these places that we are looking at, are well policed, especially the state capital, where, is more or less the gathering point of all the political parties, where they now, spread their tentacles to other parts of the state. So it is important that the police make their presence to be in place in all these towns, in all these quarters, in all these local.
Recall that Edo State Police Command, Mr. Nemi Edwin Iwo, has warned political parties to maintain the existing peace in the state and urged parents to advise their wards not to be willing tools in the hands of politicians who might wish to recruit them as thugs. Enugu State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has successfully elected a new 39-member state executive committee with a former commissioner for housing in the state, Dr. Martin Chukwuwike, as the new chairman. The winners were announced by the 6-man PDP Enugu State Congress Electoral Committee led by Tony Iyoha. Others selected during the Peaceful State Congress in the state capital, which also had Governor Peter as one of the delegates, were Barrister Stephen Oruro, Deputy Chairman Chukwudi Nadozie, Secretary, Patrick Oko, Treasurer, Fide Odo, Legal Advisor, Peace Patrick, Woman Leader, Honorable Ejike Itodo, Financial Secretary, Tobias Odiwapa, Auditor, Chief Uche Obute, Publicity Secretary, Engineer Oyenye Adibe, Organizing Secretary, Honorable Bennett Aja, Youth Leader, Nnamdi Wafo, Vice Chairman, Enugu East Zone, Fabian Ona, Vice Chairman, Enugu North Zone, and Ernest Weze, Vice Chairman, Enugu West, and others. Speaking on behalf of the new State Executive Committee, the newly elected chairman, Dr. Chukwuwike, promised to lead the party on the path of loyalty, equity, and fairness in order to consolidate the party's hold on the state, noting that the first task before the new State Executive would be to ensure that the party retains the chairmanship of the 17 local government councils of the state in the forthcoming council election. On her part, the new state woman leader, Honorable Peace Patrick, promised to ensure that women are accorded their due in the scheme of things, while also rallying them to support the government and vision of Governor Mba. Earlier in his valedictory speech, the outgone chairman, Honorable Austin Namani, thanked party leaders and faithful for their support to the former executive committee, which he led, promising to continue working hard for the success of the party and the Mba-led administration. The Congress witnessed a large turnout of party stalwarts and members. Two teenagers identified as Malik Abdul Ganiyu and Hawal Akainde were found dead in the river at Edudubale, Iduoke community, Ibesa, Ado Odo, Ota local government area of Ogun State. ATN gathered that the victims, who had been reported missing on August 28, 2024, were found dead, their bodies floating in a nearby river on Friday. 15 years Abdul Ganiyu and 13 years old Akainde reportedly left their home on Alaibe Street in Ogudu Bale on Wednesday morning to go to work at the Salvation Army, located within the same community. The Public Relations Officer, Ogun State Police Command, Omolola Odutola, confirmed the incident to newsmen in the early hours of Saturday. Odutola Omolola said on August 8, 2024, at approximately 1:30 a.m., the mothers of Abdul Ganiyu and Akainde, aged 15 and 13 respectively, reported that their children had not returned home from work on Thursday. Odutola Omolola said the corpses were discovered floating in a river not far from their home. Police detectives visited the scene and conducted a thorough examination of the bodies, but found no sign of an attack. Adding that the bereaved family demanded the release of the corpses, arguing that they wanted to bury them according to Islamic rites. ATN learned that in March 2024, a similar incident in which Sunday Oga, a fund seeker and visitor from Benue State, drowned in the Eyinwa River, located in Odobolu, local government area of Ogun State. Oga, who had reportedly accompanied his friend Abayomi to the community, went to the river for some recreation but was later found floating in the river. Ogun State government has annulled the provisional licenses of 20 private orphanages due to their failure to adhere to regulations designed to protect the well-being and safety of vulnerable children. During a meeting with orphanage operators at the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development Conference Room in Okemusan, Abeokuta State, Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Adijat Adeleye, announced this decision. Adeleye expressed frustration with certain orphanage operators, asserting that the state would not tolerate illegal activities such as unauthorized adoptions, child trafficking, or mistreatment of children. Adeleye stressed that orphanages must operate with compassion, focusing on empowering and caring for children rather than compromising their safety. She highlighted the administration's dedication to protecting children from exploitation and urged adherence to established guidelines. She noted that operating an orphanage should be a means of contributing to society through humanitarian efforts, and any failure to meet these responsibilities would lead to illegal consequences. The commissioner also mentioned that the ministry is improving its data collection to ensure accurate recording and documentation of children in orphanages. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, Adejumoke Adewole, stated that the Women Ministry will continue conducting unannounced inspections of orphanages to ensure compliance with regulations. Adeyome Anthony, a representative of the private orphanage owners, praised the state's commitment to monitoring orphanages and vowed to cooperate with the government to ensure the welfare of the children in their care. Chairman of Ogun State Independent Electoral Commission, Mr. Babatunde Osibodu, has reassured the public of the Commission's commitment to conducting a transparent local government election slated for November 16th. Osibodu, according to a statement on Saturday, made this commitment while speaking in a radio program at Ijebode. The OGSIEC boss said that he would adhere strictly to the guidelines as provided by the State's House of Assembly in conducting the LG election. The chairman emphasized that OGSIEC is not responsible for voter registration, informing that the process was under the purview of the Independent National Electoral Commission, which periodically releases a voters list for the 236 wards in the state. He acknowledged voter apathy as a significant challenge in the political landscape, stating it is the responsibility of the political parties to canvass for voters and mobilize electorate. If the electoral body ensures everything is in place, but the parties fail to campaign, voter turnout will inevitably be low. Osibodu stressed the importance of voter security, noting that if people do not feel secure, they will not come out to vote. We are collaborating with all security agencies to ensure that every polling unit is well secured. Lagos State government has constituted a medical panel to review clinical circumstances leading to the death of the Akwa Ibom State Commissioner of Police, Waheed Ayilara. The State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, made the disclosure in a statement on Saturday in Lagos. ATN reports that Ayilara died at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital on August 29th after undergoing prostate cancer surgery. Abayomi disclosed that the panel would submit a comprehensive report on the matter in 7 days. The commissioner noted that Ayilara's death was a shock which brought profound sadness to all. Abayomi noted that the late Ayilara was a distinguished officer whose dedication to duty and exemplary leadership had earned him the respect and admiration of his colleagues and the communities he served with passion. The commissioner added that his commitment to maintaining law and order as well as his unwavering integrity made him a distinguished officer. Officials of the Lagos State Environmental Sanitation Corps has arrested 9 individuals caught engaging in open defecation in the Berger area of the state. The State Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, disclosed this in a post on X.com on Saturday. Wahab had earlier disclosed that 17 individuals were arrested on Thursday night at Berger for open urination, defecation, and not using the pedestrian bridge. The state government's zero-tolerance stance on open defecation is part of its broader effort to maintain a cleaner, healthier, and more sustainable environment for residents. The Lagos State Ministry of Environment and Water Resources also commenced cleanup of the Ojodik-Berger Highway median as part of its effort to end defecation. No fewer than 21 suspects have been arrested by the Lagos State government during a coordinated surveillance operation conducted on Saturday in the Ikoyi, Victoria Island and Lekki Ajah areas of the state. In a statement on X.com, the State Commissioner for the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, Tokumbo Wahab, said the operation was to tackle the menace of miscreants and destitutes causing nuisance in those axes. The subject was found to be engaging in various nefarious activities, including the illegal sale of petroleum products along the roads. Substances suspected to be India hemp and jerry cans, gallons of fuel were also recovered during the operation. The commissioner announced that the suspects will be arraigned in court accordingly, signaling the state's determination to curb the activities of miscreants and destitutes in the area. Lagos State government has announced plans to convene a stakeholder summit to address challenges of physical planning in the state. The Deputy Director, Public Affairs Ministry of Urban and Physical Planning, Mukalai Sanusi, in a statement issued on Saturday, said the summit will afford stakeholders the opportunities to engage the government in areas of sustainable planning and development. According to him, the summit slated for October 15th and 16th in Lagos is proposed to proffer solution to teething challenges as well as create a forum for stakeholders to rub ideas on making Lagos physical planning space work. Analysts have stated that the outcome of local government elections in some states in the country will be accompanied with petitions. Speaking at Atlantic Television Network program ATN Politics, analyst Mr. Vincent Ogenekewe noted that most political players will instigate litigation because they want to continue to ensure that the political structures they have set up is not tampered with.
Litigations, when we say litigation, some of them that are absolutely uncalled for, being instigated by this hand of the monkey that I'm talking about. Because we see a situation where certain persons, certain individuals, certain political players will want to continue to have control, over local governments. They want to continue to see that whatever thing they call structure is not tampered, adding to their future prospects in politics. These people, as it is in Nigeria today, will continue to see what they can do in order to remain in charge.
Meanwhile, Mr. Ogenekewe tasked the Ondo Electoral Commission to ignore political parties that have refused to follow electoral guidelines.
Refuse to follow guidelines, who are not ready, refuse to submit names, and not the rest of them. It's to your tent, for Israel. Whoever that is ready, move along with them. Because it's not just about the election alone. You are joking with the mandates, the desires, the aspirations of the people of that state. Those people, the lives that are going to be touched by local government administration, properly instituted local government administration at that, you are just making a joke out of them, then telling them whatever you feel is not our business. So to me, it doesn't make sense. Whichever political party and candidate that are ready, they should go to the field and then test their popularity. And let us have local government administration instituted in that state.
This comes after the Ondo State's Independent Electoral Commission announced that elections in the 18 local government areas and 203 wards of the state will be conducted on January 18, 2025. Oyo State government said it has begun the payment of gratuity benefit to retirees via e-payments. This was contained in a statement issued on Saturday, August 31st, 2024, by the Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Prince Dotun Oyelade, and made available to newsmen. He disclosed further that the initiative involved capturing and validating retirees' data from June 2024 to December 2014, from June 2014 to December 2014, and June 2019 to December 2019. Added that arrangement to promptly capture other retirees had also been made. The State Secretary of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, Oyo State Chapter, Dr. Olusegun Abatan, underscored the advantages of e-payment for retirees, emphasizing that it will enhance security, accuracy, and speed in the distribution of gratuities. He lauded Governor Makinde for the promptness in the disbursement of gratuity funds since his assumption of office as the Oyo State Governor in 2019. In his closing remarks, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Establishment and Training, Mr. Oladeji Mahmood Okasade, expressed gratitude to Governor Makinde, the head of service, and the Commissioner for the timely and consistent disbursement of wage awards and other dividends to retirees and civil servants. He pointed out the benefits of e-payment to include security, faster access to funds, and the elimination of risk and delays associated with physical checks such as theft or loss. Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 17, comprising Ekiti and Ondo States, Asabi Abiodu, has received 3 drones to tackle kidnappers and other criminals in the state. Asabi described the donation as the greatest gift for security of lives and properties in the zone. He praised the Boeing Luxury Estates for collaborating with security agencies to encourage the police zeal for crime fighting and results achieved. Managing Director of the firm, Mr. Ori Martins Ekisoloyin, who presented the drones, said the gesture was to mark the 10th anniversary celebration of the firm. Akinsoloyin said there was need to lend the government a helping hand to tackle insecurity. The donor assured that more drones would be donated after 6 months if the beneficiaries used available ones judiciously. He noted that it was disheartening for security personnel to be killed through ambush when security drones could be deployed to detect criminal hideouts. He said the firm was ready to train personnel from police and NSCDC on logistics and required information on how the drone would be optimally utilized. Police in Katsina State have arrested 3 suspected gun runners in the state. The Command Public Relations Officer, ASP Abubakar Aliyu, made this disclosure to newsmen at a press briefing. According to him, a large cache of ammunition was recovered from the suspects. Aliyu said that the trio were arrested by the police on August 29th at about 12:45 a.m. in Dusina local government area of the state. He said they were arrested while attempting to deliver 740 rounds of live 7.62 mm ammunition to suspected armed bandits in Yoni Forest, Umadua Village, Safana, local government of Katsina State. The PPRO added that preliminary investigation revealed that the suspect received the ammunition from someone in Nasarawa State to deliver to one Harisu, a suspected notorious bandit kingpin currently at large. He said that the command was working tirelessly to apprehend more suspects and bring them to justice. Gombe State Emergency Management Agency has said that not fewer than 2,517 houses and shops were either completely or partially destroyed by flood, which ravaged 33 communities in the state. The Deputy Director of Relief and Rehabilitation of the agency, Mr. Ibrahim Nalado, disclosed this in an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria on Saturday in Gombe. Nalado said that the communities affected were in Duku, Funakaye and Biliri local government areas of the state. According to him, the areas were flooded due to the heavy downpour that occurred between August 12th and August 22nd. Nalado said that the flooding and windstorm affected mostly houses and a few farmlands in the communities. He said that there was no loss of life, but 2 children were injured in Duku, including 7 animals which were washed away. On the impact of flooding on farmlands, the Deputy Director said Hina community in Yamaltu, Deba local government area of the state was the worst hit. He said that not less than 1,000 hectares of rice, maize, sorghum and millet farmlands were submerged in water. The Deputy Director stated that his team visited the Hina community on Friday, August 30th, to assess the level of damage. Nalado described the impact of the flooding as huge and devastating in view of the vast area affected. Nalado stated that his agency had assessed the level of damage and were compiling the reports to forward to the state government and other relevant agencies. The Deputy Director also appealed to the farmers and other persons affected to be patient. He assured them that government and other government agencies will come to their aid. He, however, said that the level of damage on farmlands at Hina would take collective efforts of both the state and the federal government to address. He appealed to the Northeast Development Commission and the National Emergency Management Agency to support the state government in this regard. In a bid to tackle the impending effects of floods on the Republic of Cameroon, the Republic of Cameroon is set to release water from Lado Dam. The Taraba state government has announced the establishment of a flood control team across all the 168 wards of the state. Governor Abu Kefas, who announced this during a media interaction with journalists at Government House in Jalingo on Saturday, said the flood control team would also focus on emergency management and proactive measures to prevent future disasters in the state. While pledging to give the local government councils in the state their full autonomy in line with the Supreme Court's ruling, Kefas said his administration was fully committed to implementing the federal government's decision on the minimum wage and improvements in the general welfare of civil servants. The governor, who used the occasion to congratulate the people of the state on the 33rd anniversary of the creation of the state, called on the residents to unite with a collective determination to build a prosperous future. You're watching the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break.
Guidelines who are not ready, refuse to submit names, and not the rest of them. It's to your tent.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis,
Welcome back. This is the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. National Primary Healthcare Development Agency has announced that the tentative start date for Mpox vaccination is October 8, 2024. According to Remy Adeleke, the head of the Public Relations Unit at NPHCDA, vaccine deployment is scheduled to occur from October 3rd to 6, 2024. This timeline aligns with a 3 to 6 week period required for the regulatory process, including sampling, traceability, and lab analysis, following the receipt of the vaccine on August 27th. Adeleke said due to a limited supply of 9,980 doses of the Genosi Mpox vaccine, the doses will be evenly distributed. 1,996 per state across 5 selected states. The choice of this state is based on current case trends and in collaboration with the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Adeleke noted that an additional doses from an expected donation by the African CDC are still being arranged. Adeleke explained that the target population in this state include close contact of Mpox cases, health workers, and individuals with weakened immune system. Each of the 4,750 individuals targeted will receive 2 doses of the vaccine, administered 28 days apart. From the vaccination strategy, 2 sites per state will be designated. Fixed posts will be set up at infectious disease referral centers, and special teams will target communities with identified risk. The vaccination will be available only to individuals aged 18 and older. ATM reports that mpox is a rare viral disease transmitted from animals to humans, primarily affecting remote areas of Central and West Africa near tropical rainforests. The disease is caused by the mpox virus, which belongs to the orthoparvovirus genus. On August 13, 2024, the African Centers for Disease Control and Prevention declared mpox a public health emergency of continental concern. As of the latest data from the NCDC, Nigeria has reported 48 confirmed mpox cases out of 868 suspected cases across 35 local government areas in 19 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Civil Defense Correctional, Fire and Immigration Services Board has disowned an online publication on recruitment into the Nigerian Immigration Service. This is contained in a statement by the Secretary to the Board, Mr. Ja'afaru Ahmed, on Saturday in Abuja. It also cautioned the public to be vigilant against fraudulent recruitment schemes and scammers. The Board confirmed that recruitment for the Federal Fire Service is currently underway. Shortlisted candidates will be notified of the next steps through telephone, messages, and emails based on the contact information provided during their registration. Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, said about 4,606 suspects have been arrested for various maritime crimes between 2015 and 2024. Vice Admiral Ogala made this known in Ibadan while presenting the third Distinguished Personality Lecture at the Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies, University of Ibadan, titled Role of the Nigerian Navy in Combating Maritime Crimes for Enhanced Blue Economy in Nigeria. He stressed that limited community support makes maritime criminals emboldened, knowing that they may not be reported or caught in Nigeria, adding that the Navy has demonstrated a strong commitment to ensuring the secure environments necessary for the development of the blue economy. Vice Admiral Ogala added that it also underscores the urgent need for comprehensive society-wide solutions to address root causes of maritime criminality, which threatens the successful exploitation of blue economy potentials in Nigeria. According to CNS, the arrests were carried out in the communities within the riverine areas, and that the Navy is already pushing for the power to prosecute offenders in the core areas of its mandate. While calling for the establishment of special courts to be dedicated to maritime crimes to ensure effective and efficient justice delivery, ultimately resulting in better outcomes for law enforcement, the Chief of Naval Staff said the speedy prosecution of maritime crimes will improve data collection and analysis, which are crucial for policy and legislative formation in the combating maritime crimes for the development of the marine blue economy. Stressing that transportation along the waterways generates approximately $2 billion. Vice Admiral Ogala said the evolving dynamics of maritime crimes could negatively affect the prospects, hence the need for a pragmatic solution to address the threats. International Committee of the Red Cross says 24,025 people are reportedly missing in Nigeria, with the majority from the northeast. The Boko Haram conflict, which has persisted for over a decade, particularly affecting the states of Borno, Nasarawa, and Yobe, is so alarming. The head of the ICRC Subdelegation Office, Lillian Dube, during an event to commemorate the World Day of Disappeared Persons in Maiduguri, explained that the cases were documented in collaboration with the Nigerian Red Cross Society. She further explained that 492 cases have been resolved, while 1,364 families have received news clarifying the fate of their missing loved ones. Currently, she stated that 618 separated children that are still searching for their relatives are being closely monitored by the ICRC and NRCS, stressing that 4 children, either separated or unaccompanied minors, have been successfully reunited with their families. Dube said that the ICRC has also exchanged 1,286 messages, including from those in detention, to re-establish contacts between separated family members. Additionally, they facilitated 7 phone calls to help reconnect families. She said that over 600 families have received psychosocial, economic, legal, and administrative support through the ICRC's accompaniment program to address the psychological and emotional impact on the families of the missing. The head of the ICRC's Subdelegation Office observed that messages on how to prevent separations have been widely disseminated through various channels, including radio, posters, leaflets, and social media, to raise awareness about the importance of staying in touch with family members during uncertain times. She added that 8,788 names of missing persons have been broadcasted on the radio and announced in communities, encouraging anyone with information to contact family members searching for them. Now, business news. Nigeria and Indonesia have signed a memorandum of understanding to advance palm oil production and market expansion with the goal of moving beyond traditional methods and enhancing the income of smallholder farmers. The MOU was formalized in Abuja by the National Palm Producers Association of Nigeria and the Indonesian Palm Oil Association. Ambassador Amfosos Iyang, president of NPPAN, indicated that the agreement would equip smallholder farmers with essential palm oil knowledge, technology, and economic benefits. He noted that the MOU is designed to promote growth in Nigeria's palm oil sector and foster beneficial cooperation between the two countries. Mr. Eddie Matono, chairman of GAPKI, affirmed Indonesia's dedication to supporting the development of Nigeria's palm oil industry and strengthening bilateral cooperation. He highlighted that Indonesia aims to diversify its palm oil market, with Nigeria's strategic location providing an ideal opportunity for this expansion. Sahabu Muazu, director of the Indonesian Embassy in Nigeria, expressed optimism that the MOU would stimulate growth in Nigeria's palm oil sector. Lolita Bagum, GAPKI Deputy Secretary General, pointed to Nigeria's potential as a creative investment destination, noting the success of Indomie in the country. He explained that the agreement seeks to boost palm oil export to Nigeria, which is experiencing growing demand for the product. With Indonesia's expertise and Nigeria's strategic location, the partnership is expected to significantly benefit the palm oil industry in both. Naira Friday depreciated to 1,625 naira per dollar in the parallel market from 1,615 naira per dollar on Thursday. This comes as the naira depreciated to 1,625 against the dollar on Friday, compared to 1,615 exchange rate recorded last week on Friday, 28 August 2024. Similarly, FMDQ data, which records official foreign market trading, showed that the drop to 1,598.56 naira per dollar this Friday, compared to 1,570.14 naira exchange last week. The development means that the weakened both foreign exchange market despite the Central Bank of Nigeria's intervention. Although the foreign exchange transactions turnover increased to $172.80 million on Friday from $155.52 million recorded on Thursday. The naira failed to strengthen against the dollar in the last 7 days. The development comes weeks after the retail Dutch auction system was reintroduced by CBN amid a dollar demand spike. Nigeria Exchange Limited on Friday closed the week on a bullish note, with investors adding 999 billion naira to their portfolios. This comes as the market capitalization of listed equities increased by 99 billion naira, or 0.18%, from an opening of 55.379 trillion naira to settle at 55.478 trillion naira. As a result, the year-to-date return rose by 29.19%. The impressive performance of the market was driven by investors buying interest in FBN Holdings, Guaranty Trust Holding Company, GTCO, Total Energy, O&O PLC, and Transnational Corporation, among other advanced equities. Meanwhile, market breadth maintained a positive momentum, with 27 gainers outnumbering 25 losers on the floor of the exchange. On the gainers chart, Berger Paints, Deep Capital Management, and Trust PLC led by 10% each to close at 14 naira 30 kobo and 88 kobo per share. Owanda followed with a 9.94% gain to close at 76 naira 90 kobo. McNichols gained 9.93% to close at 1 naira 55 kobo, and Dow Communications advanced by 8.96% to close at 73 kobo per share. On the other hand, Eternal PLC led the losers chart by 9.95% to close at 27 naira 60 kobo. Alta Brazil retailed by 9.90% to close at 3 naira 55 kobo per share. Tantalizers also lost 7.25% to close at 64 kobo. Charms dropped 7.17% to close at 2 naira 20 kobo. while Unicel Interlink PLC shared 6.25% to close at 3 naira per share. Further analysis of the market activities indicated that trade turnover settled higher relative to the previous session, with the value of transactions increasing by 326%. Investors exchanged a total of 573.96 million shares worth 31.58 million naira in 12,754 deals, compared to 966.97 million shares valued at 7.42 billion naira exchange in 9,551 deals posted previously. On the activity chart, Julius Berger emerged as the most traded stock in volume and value, with 120.76 million shares valued at 19.63 billion naira. Residents of border communities between Nigeria and Benin Republic in Ogun State are facing significant challenges due to the high cost of petroleum in these areas. The price of petroleum has surged to as much as 2,000 naira per litre. ATN learned that this dramatic increase is partly due to the limited number of licensed petroleum stations in the region. Only 4 stations, La Pems Oil, Mobil Fueling Station, Presso Oil and Gas, and Somolab Fueling Station, are authorized by the Nigerian government to sell petrol in those border areas. The affected communities include Idiroko, Ijofin, Agosasa, Ipokia, Iwoye Ketu, Tube, Oniro, Araromi Ofo, Elate Ohimbo, Agada, Mahun, and Tungedrin, situated across Ipokia and Imeko Afon local government areas, while the licensed stations sell fuel at prices ranging from 1,200 naira to 1,300 naira per litre. Black market sellers have set prices as high as 2,000 naira per litre. Smuggling is also contributing to the elevated prices. Recall that in 2019, former President Muhammad Buhari imposed a ban on the supply of petroleum products to stations within 20 kilometers of Nigeria's border to curb fuel diversion to neighboring countries. Although subsequent waivers allowed some stations in border areas to sell fuel, the number remains inadequate for the local population. Imoleyawe Mamun, chairman of the Bokia Local Government Youth Forum, in an interview with newsmen, criticized the insufficient number of petrol stations, noting that 4 stations are inadequate for the population exceeding 350,000. He urged the government to lift the ban on fuel sales at border stations and allow more stations to operate. Mawutin highlighted that the local government receives a weekly supply of 180,000 liters of petroleum, but much of it is diverted to Benin Republic, leading to shortages and high prices. He described how residents must travel over 30 kilometers to Owode Township in another local government area to purchase petrol, only to face harassment and confiscation by customs officials. These enterprises and farmers who are left with no choice but to buy petrol from black market sellers at exorbitant prices ranging from 1,500 to 2,000 naira per litre. International tidbits. On Saturday, Israel continued its large-scale military operation in the occupied West Bank for the 4th consecutive day, while intense combat continued in the nearly 11-month-long Gaza war. In the northern city of Jenin, clashes and explosions were ongoing. The Israeli military reported that 2 Palestinians were killed overnight in the southern West Bank as they were allegedly preparing to carry out bombings. The Israeli military described a vehicle explosion at a petrol station in the Gush Etzion settlement block as an attempted car bombing by a terrorist who was subsequently killed. An army officer was moderately injured and a reservist officer sustained minor injuries. The militant group Hamas, which initiated the Gaza conflict with its October 7 assault on Israel, praised what it termed a heroic operation amid the Israeli actions in the north. Islamic Jihad, a Hamas ally with a significant presence in the northern West Bank, also commended the coordinated attack. The violence in the West Bank has escalated since Hamas' October 7th attack. ATN learned that since Wednesday, the Israeli military has killed at least 20 Palestinians, primarily militants, in coordinated raids across northern West Bank cities. The focus of operation has been on Jenin and its refuge camps, which are strongholds of Palestinian armed groups. Hamas and Israel Islamic Jihad claim that at least 13 of the 20 Palestinians killed since Wednesday were members of their armed wings. The casualties include an 82-year-old man and 2 teenagers, with an additional 55 Palestinians reported wounded. On Saturday morning, it reports ongoing clashes in Jenin, with the city largely deserted except for armored vehicles. The director of the local hospital, Wissam Barker, described it as the worst day of the raid, noting disruptions to water and electricity. Britain, France and Spain have voiced concerns about the West Bank operation, with Spain condemning the violence as unacceptable. The World Health Organization announced that Israel has agreed to 3 days of humanitarian pauses in Gaza starting Sunday to support a polio vaccination campaign. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu clarified that these pauses should not be considered a ceasefire. Iran's police force has dismissed the commander of a city in the northern province of Gilan after the death in custody of a detainee, state media said on Saturday. Mohammed Mi Mousavi, 36, was arrested on July 22nd after being involved in a fight in Lahijan, police said in a statement carried by the official news agency. The police said the commander and several officers involved in the incident was disclosed due to insufficient oversight of the conduct and behavior of staff. Due to the complexity of the matter, the conclusion on the cause of Mohammed Mi Mousavi's death depends on the medical examiner's final report. The statement added that the behavior of some law enforcement officers was against the professional publicity of the police and that is not acceptable in any way. So they were referred to the judicial authority. The Norway-based Kurdish human rights organization, Hegwa, on Wednesday said Mr. Mi Mousavi was killed under torture in the detention center. On Thursday, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian ordered an investigation into the case. In 2022, the death in custody of Mahsa Aminu, a 22-year-old Iranian Kurdish woman who had been arrested in Tehran for an alleged breach of the country's strict dress code for women, sparked months of delayed nationwide protests. China and the Philippines accused each other on Saturday of deliberately ramming their Coast Guard ships near a flashpoint shoal in South China Sea, the latest in a spate of similar incidents in recent weeks. China claims amongst the entire economically vital waterway despite competing claims from other countries and an international court ruling that its accession has no legal basis. A Chinese Coast Guard spokesperson said Saturday's incident took place off the disputed Sabina Shoal, which has emerged as a new hotspot in the long-running maritime confrontations between Manila and Beijing. Sabina Shoal is located in 140 kilometers, 86 miles west of the Philippine island of Palawan, and about 1,2,000 kilometers from Hainan Island, the nearest major Chinese landmass. Liu Denjun said, according to state broadcaster CCTV, shortly after noon, a Philippine ship deliberately collided with a Chinese vessel near the shoal, known in Chinese as Zombing. However, Philippine Coast Guard spokesman Commodore J. Tariela said it was a China Coast Guard vessel 5205 that directly and intentionally rammed the Philippines' 97-meter ship PRP Teresa Mabanwa. The Tariela said the ramming happened 3 times, hitting the BRP Teresa Mabanwa's port bow, starboard quarter and port beam. No crew members were injured during the incident, but the ship's bridge wing and freeboard were damaged. A hole was also found. Tariela said the collision was the 5th incident of Chinese maritime harassment this month. National Maritime Council spokesperson Alexander Lopez said a report about the latest clash would be sent to the Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs for review and appropriate action. ATN Sports News. Team Nigeria athlete Mariam Bolaji has booked a place in the quarter-final of the women's SL3 badminton event at the ongoing Paralympic Games. Bolaji defeated Australia's Celine Vinot 2-0 in the women's SL3 badminton event. The latest victory of Bolaji's second in the 2024 Paralympic Games in Paris, earning her a place in the quarterfinals in her first outing at the Games. Her colleague Chigozie Nana, however, lost his match 2-0 to world number 3 Indonesia's Freddy Setiawan in the SL4 category on Friday. The Nigerian gave the world number 3 a run for his money in the first set, losing 24-21, but the Indonesian came out stronger in the second set, winning by 21-12. HN reports that the duo of Bolaji and Nana are the first players from Africa to win a match at the Paralympic Games. South Africa Premier Scorer League club Chippa United have named Nigerian Super Eagles goalkeeper Stanley Wabali as captain. The Nigerian international was touted to be on his way out of the South African side following his outstanding performance for Nigeria in the 2023 African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. But Wabali on Thursday signed a 3-year contract extension with the club. The lanky goalkeeper was among the 23 players invited for the 2025 AFCON qualifiers against Benin and Rwanda next week. Appointment of Bruno Labbadia as a head coach of the Super Eagles has been pushed by stringent regulations of German tax authorities. The Nigerian Football Federation has confirmed. The NFF said that in the event, Technical Director of Nigerian Football Federation, Coach Augustine Aguavin, will now take charge of the Super Eagles for the upcoming 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifying matches against Benin Republic, Uyo 7 September, and Rwanda, Kigali 10 September. It will be Aguavin's fourth stint in charge of the 3-time African champions after earlier experience in 2005 to 2007, 2010, and 2022. In a statement released by the NFF on Friday, the President, Ibrahim Gassau, was quoted as saying that the Federation cannot offset the concomitant tax percentage on the German coach salary. According to him, the issue of offsetting the coach tax was not part of the initial agreement before the announcement of his appointment. The NFF had on Tuesday announced its agreement with the German tactician to mount the saddle as the head coach of the Super Eagles. Labbadia would have become the 6th German after Karl-Heinz Martens, who had 2 stints between 1970 and 1974. Gottlieb Gola, 1981, Manfred Hohner, 1988-89, Betis Votes, 2007-2008, and Gernot Roy, 2016-2021, to lead the Super Eagles. Napoli has handed the number 9 shirt to Romelu Lukaku, just as Victor Osimhen's move to either Chelsea or Al Ahly fell through. The 25-year-old striker was expected to leave on deadline day, but no deal happened. Delegates from Chelsea were in Naples until the final moment of transfer window on Friday before accepting a deal could not be done. The Blues told Napoli they would take Osimhen on loan with an obligation to buy, but could not agree personal terms with the forward. Meanwhile, Al Ahly signed Ivan Toney from Brentford for £40 million, despite agreeing a deal to buy Osimhen earlier on Friday. It was claimed that Saudi Pro League side had a bid worth £67 million accepted by Napoli and offered Osimhen a 4-year package worth £135 million in wages and bonuses. Chelsea were unwilling to match the terms on offer in Saudi Arabia and did not want to overspend on the deal due to profit and sustainability regulations. The Nigerian ended up staying at Napoli despite his relationship with the club being broken. Now, Osimhen no longer appears on the club website, while a new signing Lukaku is listed as their number 9. Sport England has announced a new £120 million fund for the next generation of Olympic and Paralympic athletes. The fresh funding will aim to expand opportunities for young athletes as well as alleviating inequalities within sports. The fund's launch comes after the conclusion of the Paris 2024 Summer Olympic Games on 11th August and ahead of the Paralympic Games, which commence on 28th August. This will be available to athletes over the 4-year period from 2025. Sports England funding is being delivered through this partnership with more than 70 sports organizations. This includes a turbocharging of sports aids backing the best, program, providing an additional £1.5 million of national lottery funding over the next 2 years. Team GB's Kelly Hodgkin, who won gold in the 800 meters at this summer's Olympic, was supported by the Backing the Best initiative, which launched in 2016 and offers funding across more than 30 different sports. According to a 2022 study led by Sports Aid, costs for young athletes aiming to finance their sporting potential usually exceed £6,600 each year. This includes travel, accommodation, equipment, and coaching costs. Entertainment news. Fuji music star Abbas Akande, aka Obesere, has expressed gratitude to God after surviving a life-threatening surgery. In a post on Instagram on Saturday, Obesere revealed that the surgery almost took his life, but he escaped death. This post sparked an outpouring of well wishes from fans who were grateful for the successful surgery and wished him speedy recovery. Controversial Nigerian singer Habib Akikiola, popularly known as Portable, has secured a 10-year Canada work visa. Portable made this known in a viral video on his Instagram page showing off the visa. Portable revealed that he can now perform his shows abroad. ATN recalls that Portable had, during an interview in 2022, revealed that he was denied a U.S. visa 5 times because of how he presented himself. Famous American rapper and radio personality Isaac Freeman, professionally known as Fatman Scoop, is dead. Rapper Fatman Scoop died at 53 after suffering a medical emergency on stage during a concert. Announcing his death on Saturday, his tour manager said he was lost for words. A viral video on social media showing the moment Scoop collapsed on stage in Hamden Town Center Park, Connecticut on Friday and was rushed to hospital. He was seen struggling after he climbed the stage at his final show before disappearing from view, as medics raced to revive him. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Rivers PDP holds State Congress. Lagos government probes Akwa Ibom CP's death. FG to begin Mpox vaccination. Naira depreciates to 1,625 Naira per dollar. Israel continues West Bank raid. Obesere survives life-threatening surgery. Wabali named Chippa United captain. I am Wendy Aguma. Thank you for watching and good evening.